Alright, good morning, y'all. What's going on? We're going to get into at least a couple of things here that I've actually been meaning to get into for the last couple of days. Just hadn't really gotten to be able to, just because of time or lack thereof, amongst other things. But just wanted to talk really quick about a couple of things that I feel like I enjoy about NXT right now. Now, I say that simply for the fact that, in all honesty, I've been saying recently, as y'all know, that I haven't quite been enjoying Raw, SmackDown, or even so much AEW as much lately. That said, however, on the other hand, I didn't realize how much I'd actually been enjoying NXT. Because one individual that I think about specifically as to why that is this man here, Charlie Dempsey. Now, first glance here, and this is even thinking back to the NXT UK days, I even remember the fact that I really didn't do all that well with getting to see a whole lot of NXT UK, but just judging from this picture right here, just taking a look at this right here, what would be the first thing that you would think? It's just a really smug looking tough guy that probably doesn't have a whole lot of personality. No. I mean, I don't know necessarily that this is an aspect of his personality, but just the fact that he's gone outside of what we've seen of him, so much so to the extent of basically trying to mimic Tony D'Angelo of all things. I mean, I can't think of many things that could be any more hilarious, and just the notion of him standing in that mirror trying to, work on his inner Tony D and just try to be like, you talking to me? You talking to me? I know I can't do an Italian accent all that well either, but just hearing him do that and the way that he's trying to mask his British accent is so outrageously hilarious. I love it. I just can't wait to see what we get more from him, but not only that, more from the young OG Javon Evans. I mean, I really want to talk about him specifically for the fact that this is someone that I actually have a bit of empathy for, actually, especially just in the ways that I'm able to relate. He recently having lost his grandmother, I lost both of mine in as many years, and it's just crazy because the difference between me and him is that his grandmother was a wrestling fan along with him. I wish I could say that about my grandmothers, but I'm not gonna hold that against him. Who the hell am I to do such a thing anyway? But the point I'm trying to make here is that he's basically honoring everything about her legacy and everything, which is tremendous in and of itself. And if you can't find that to be relatable, I don't know. I just don't know what to tell you at that point, because this is just what you get out of this guy. And not even just that, but the fact that you had the angle with Shawn Spears and all the things that he's been doing. I'm trying to remember who it was that he went after. Initially it was Rich Holland. Josh Briggs, because he had his little get together, and Javon Evans just happened to be there for whatever reason. And this is what's really interesting about that. I'm not gonna try to make more of this than what I need to, but the fact that he ended up getting an upper hand as strongly as he did on Spears the way that he did says a lot, especially in terms of how much the likes of HBK and others are willing to believe in him. I think that things like this are going to go a really long way for him, as if his overall ability as it is wasn't enough. It's just he's showing that he's earning it, and I think with time we're looking at not just a WrestleMania main event, or just like a one-of-one type of star, the likes of which you've never seen. I mean, you hear me talk in other videos about the MJ, LeBron, GOAT conversations, and of course I've mentioned that Anthony Edwards has removed him from that, and even after losing the Mavs the way that he did, I still feel that way. But again, discussion for another time, another video. I really feel important to say this because, you know, this is probably the truest next version of WWE's Michael Jordan that you could possibly see. And I say that given the fact that with last year's Stand and Deliver, you had the pre-show. I can't remember the brother's name, but he was on there, and he was making the comparison of last year's main event for Stand and Deliver with Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes to LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony. I mean, too many fitting comparisons with that, but, you know, I feel like this is the one right here, if nothing else. And barring some sort of tragic injury or something like that, I can't see anything stopping him at this point. And on a note of not stopping things, is there anything stopping us from getting to North and NXT, or perhaps even just WWE in general? And here's where it's really going to be interesting, and this is, for me, what's going to determine exactly how long Ethan Page stays in NXT, just depending on if he does at all. Because this is something that I have to say is true for both him and the walking weapon Josh Alexander. Both of these dudes are main roster ready. You're not stopping them from going to the main roster right the fuck now and actually making an impact every bit as much as what Ethan is doing on NXT right now with Trick Williams. Now, I'm going to say this right now, and I said this in previous videos. I got Trick winning this Sunday, which is wild because I also realized that Forbidden Doors also Sunday. It's going to be really, really crazy, and I'm going to dread Monday more like a motherfucker. But that's all aside from the point. What I want to get to with this is specifically the fact that if and when we get the North, we don't even necessarily have to be getting the North, the tag team. We're basically getting them just the package. Basically the way that we've gotten G.O.D., even though they're not being referred to as G.O.D. with a bloodline or anything. They're just simply extensions of the bloodline, or I guess new members of the bloodline, as I guess Solo's going to anoint Tongaloa tonight. Anyway, point I'm trying to make here is I wouldn't be shocked to see not only Paige losing to Trick, but within a couple of months or so, similar to a Dragon Lee, we see him and probably even Josh Alexander on either Raw or SmackDown. If I were to take a guess right now, I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to say both of them are on Raw. I'm going to say somewhere along SummerSlam time, probably a little thereafter, like the Raw after SummerSlam, they surprise everybody, show up on Raw. But we'll see how all that works out. That being said, we're going to move to the main topic of this discussion here, which is going to be the path to All In. And this is something that I was catching on to yesterday. An article on, let me actually get all this up here. An article on WrestleNomics through Patreon came up, and I'll read a little bit of this for you guys. AEW is paying a discounted rate of $232,000 to the Arlington Expo Center and Esports Venues LLC to use the Esports Stadium for the Path of All In series of events in July and August. And that's according to WrestleNomics, but I want to talk about this because throughout the article they're mentioning a lot of similar transactions, or at least upcoming events that are pretty much the same thing. Now, I've been having a discussion. I actually had a discussion with my best friend Darren about this last night, and I'm bringing this up simply because of the fact that this is literally just a glorified Band-Aid. Now, this is a really good glorified Band-Aid, and here's why. The issues that you've had with a lot of empty seats in specific venues throughout wherever AEW has been that hasn't been pay-per-views, particularly Revolution, Dynasty, and of course we got Forbidden Door coming up. You know, we're dealing with smaller venues on that, and I think that's going to be a smarter move because at least that way, not only are you cutting cost, but you're helping with the aesthetics. You don't run the risk of, running the camera throughout the crowd and seeing a bunch of fucking empty seats. And I think that in it itself is gonna be significant for the fact that this is something that many have been very, very quick to point at as one of many faux pas with AEW right now. And they're not wrong for that, let's be clear about that. Nor are they wrong for any of the things that are being said, particularly in terms of booking decisions. I'm not going to disagree with that, but I've said it before. This is where we're actually weathering the storm, and I'm going to keep saying this again and again and again and again, and ultimately you're going to wind up seeing it for what it is, and it's going to show for what it is. Now, am I expecting this to actually pan out right away? No. I actually feel as if anything, all these things, particularly the likes of Camille expressing supposed, I guess, feelings or whatever you want to call them about not being on TV so much. And, I'm not going to say that she's necessarily wrong and all that, but baby girl, wait it out. I'm telling you now, wait it out. Shit's going to work out exactly how it needs to. I'm just going to say that. I'm not really sure how it's going to happen. I'm just confident that it's going to happen at some point. Now, what this all entails, your guess is as good as mine on that one. So with that said, let me know what y'all think on that one. Like, share, subscribe if y'all are new, and I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I'ma get at y'all.